dated a girl mid-30s, pushed me hard for marriage. I told her I needed to date 2 years. We broke up in a year and a half. Monkey branched to another guy, was engaged in a year. She just wanted a ring. Didn't matter who. Yeah. Okay. Well, so here's the deal. I'm glad you brought that up because that's very similar to what I always put in here. This is the timeline from my second book, which is The Rational Male, Preventative Medicine. It was published in 2015, and it's actually, quite honestly, I think it's the sleeper hit of the series. But anyways, you can see here, if you look at the epiphany phase and the transition phase, which is like right at 26, 27, 27, 28. As I said before, like I usually peg the party years or the hoe phase between 18 and 28. But the epiphany phase is when women start to, you know, sort of be a little bit more self-aware. And that's when they want to get right with God and they want to find a guy and blah, 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 blah. I think it coincides with this understanding that in a few more years, that woman will not be able to compete at the same level that she's able to now in her 20s. This is the wall, okay? This is not the wall. There's plenty of hot girls who are like 38, 39. Hell, I know some 43-year-olds that like could compete in fitness America bikini contests. Good looking. But it's not that. It's here. That's where the wall starts for women. I cannot compete. I am 33 and I cannot compete at the same level as I did when I was 23. Or there's a new crop of 23-year-old girls and I am not as desirable at 33 as they are at 23. That's just how the market works. It's market demand. It's not because guys are trying to shit all over women. Oh, you said I'm not attractive at this age. Well, I'm attractive. Like, not what I said. Not what I've ever said. It's psychological. It's right here. And that all begins at this stage right here. So what happens is when if women cannot consolidate, if they cannot lock down the guy who is their first choice, the guy for whom they would do anything, right? Literally anything. They can't lock that guy down. That's the time where it's like the woman's id and her ego start conflicting. Right. So you got the id. The id wants hot, sexy, fun, monkey sex, lust, roller coaster ride, bad boys, motorcycles, excitement, fun, hot, arousing sex with a hot guy. That's the id. And if she's been able to sort of get that, or even have a Instagram or OnlyFans up to that point, that has been sort of delivering that dopamine or that endorphin hit long enough that she thinks she can stay in the game. It's almost like a gambling addiction. Well, maybe the next one will be better. But if she can't lock that guy down, then the ego kicks in and goes, wait. We need to find a guy good for the long haul. Let's be sensible about this girl. Let's find a guy who is fun and but has a good job, a man with benefits. We got to find a guy who's going to be a good candidate for an eligible bachelor for the long haul. And that's when women get frustrated. Or they can't find that anymore. Because those guys either don't exist, they're not as forthcoming as they used to be because of her age, or maybe they just don't understand like what those guys want. And so what happens is they have to make a compromise, and that compromise becomes the second choice. And and by the way, when I'm talking about guys don't be the second choice, I'm also saying that for women's benefit too. Because remember, your choice of who you're going to marry, ladies, is, and you're the one that makes this choice. Your future children, your future grandchildren, your mom and your dad, his mom and his dad, all of that is dependent on one thing, on you understanding that this guy's your second choice and he'll never be your first choice. Or this guy's your first choice and that's what you're going with. And that's what you want. So so what I'm doing is I'm basically saying, you know, I'm trying to like forestall the inevitable, right? I'm trying to head it off at the pass, trying to give you some like, you know, insight before you make a really bad choice, not just for his life, but for your own life as well. Because if you get to be 38, 39 years old and you go, you know what, I need to get out. Well, I'm still hot. I need to get a personal trainer and I need to get myself back in the game because he's not the one. Women will gaslight themselves, and there's also all kinds of social conventions for women to sort of like rationalize away why they should get out of a marriage and get into something else, right? It's the making up for missing out effect. It's Stella got her groove back. It's Eat, Pray, Love. Both those stories are exactly what I'm talking about. So women who get to later on in life, they're like, okay, well, it's put up or it's time to fish or cut bait, right? Either I'm sticking with this guy for the long haul and he's not my favorite, and I'm just going to live this the rest of my life, kind of just sort of hoping things will get better, or am I going to get out of this relationship and am I going to get back into the sexual marketplace? And unfortunately, you want to know why women divorce men at 70%, you know, 70, 75, whatever it is. It's because of that dilemma. It's because you want to know when the average age of first divorce for women is 40, for men it's 43. And, you know, nine times out of 10, it's not because nothing sinister, nothing pre-planned, nothing premeditated. It's just because that's the timeline. That was what was pragmatic. That's what was working. And so whether it's through social conditionings or whatever, or movies, stories, The Notebook, just kill me with the fucking Notebook. That's the timeline. So ladies, you're like, listen to Uncle Rollo. You're doing yourself a favor and you're doing him a favor. Because if he's not somebody that you can have that hot monkey sex with like you did in college, what are you doing with him? There has to be a good balance between the ego and the id right there when you're trying to check out of the sexual marketplace. Don't make a guy do him the solid and just tell him he's not the one. Better an honest slut than being the second choice. Because as I said before, it's like later on in life when you get to hit your 60s and say, you're not looking at the God's eye view of it all, right? You're not looking at the full picture. When you get to be 70 years old, you go, God, my life that could have been. I should have listened to Rollo when I was 28.